So it's taken me 8 long years, but I finally beat The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild yesterday. So my history with this game is that I didn't have a Switch one at launch, so I bought Breath of the Wild on the Wii U because I'm a Zelda fan. I like 3D Zelda games. I said, okay, I'm gonna get this. Didn't have a Switch, so I got it on the Wii U. I played it a little bit there, and I immediately loved the openness of what I kind of can describe as there's no one way to solve a problem in the game, meaning that shrines that you went after or going through objectives in the game to get through, because I was so used to, obviously, the first time playing in open world Zelda game. I was used to the linear 3D Zelda games, so the fact that you could kind of do anything in any order, and there was no kind of like there was a story to follow, but like you could easily just get lost. Like, I feel that what Breath of the Wild really is the exploration in the game. So the combat, once you master the flurry rush, knowing when and how to dodge certain attacks, once you master that, and obviously you need weapons that have what you work up towards, because the weapons have like an RPG mechanic of like they have a number on them of how strong they are. So once you get the good weapons, you master the flurry rush, and also the parry. The parry is very important for the end game, or the finality, the end of the game. Not having a good master of the parry mechanic. Once you have those, the game actually becomes extremely easy when it comes to combat. But the exploration, like I mean, if you've played a little bit of Breath of the Wild, you see that the Guardians, once they target you, if you're not like beelining it away from them, like you're dead. That's it. You're gone. So basically, as people know, which has been shown in trailers, there are 4 champions in the game, and so those are basically your I guess your dungeons, because they have these things called, for each champion there's a divine beast that the champions controlled, back when they were alive. So you're going to basically free those divine beasts, and it's a little bit of a spoiler, but not too much. Basically, once you control those divine beasts again, you have control. I'm not going to say how you do it or what goes about, but you're basically you're solving little puzzles in these mini dungeons, which are the divine beasts. It's basically a smaller dungeon. So you do have 4 dungeons, and then you have about 120 shrines in the game that you can complete. Obviously, I did not do all of them because I did not have a good majority of them done. I discovered a lot of them, and the good thing is you could warp to them later on, so I could always jump back into the game and check them out. Basically, once you get control of those 4 divine beasts, it actually makes the final battle, which I mean, spoiler again, but surprise, surprise, but we're fighting Ganon, or a form of Ganon. I guess it's the Calamity Ganon, which if you played a little bit of the game, you know that is the story. It's the story of the Calamity Ganon, which they made a spin-off with the Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. So that is the 100 years before Breath of the Wild, which it's technically that is technically an alternate timeline, even though I consider it, since it's an alternate, that it's one of the possibilities of what can go on or whatever. So basically, Breath of the Wild, I would say that, for 8 years, I've always seen, whenever anyone talks about it, anyone who has beaten it, they've talked about how great it is. And there was something that I will not say what it is, but there is something in the end that I don't know how I went 8 years and it was not spoiled for me. I did not see images of it, and whatever, like no one really posted what it was. But yeah, so there is a surprise at the end. Um, Now, story wise, I mean, it basically is. If you've played a 3D or any Zelda game before, it's basically Ganon is trying to take over. You are battling him. You go to battle him. In the end, you get to him. You stop him, and then things go back to normal. I guess, if you want to call it that, whatever. Like the land is back at peace. So that is the story of Zelda in general. I just spoiled every single Zelda game ever. That is how it is. You're gonna. I mean, obviously, in Zelda games, sometimes it changes. Sometimes it's not Ganon. There are other bad, actors who are trying to stop things. You're basically the Silent Knight Link. He never talks. So I will say that I understand the fact that this was an open world game and it wasn't linear. They had to basically make the story discoverable. So they used things in the game called memories, which basically they give you a bunch of pictures of areas in the environment, and you have to go to those areas in the picture. It's kind of like a hide and seek. And when you go to those areas, cutscenes will play that are memories that Link is remembering because he lost his memory in the game. So that's how they kind of attack the whole open world. You could kind of attack it any way you want to. Because once you get off the tutorial area in the game, which is called the Great Plateau, and you get your glider, you can go straight to Hyrule Castle, battle Ganon, and basically beat the game. Because it is possible to do that from the beginning of the game. And they touted that at Nintendo, that you could just go and straight up beat the game straight on like that. Now, I wouldn't suggest that if you're a Zelda fan and you want to get like I also didn't do a lot of the shrines. I would suggest doing a majority of the shrines. The Korok seeds, they're kind of like environmental, like puzzles. Like you see like maybe like a rock formation. You pick up a rock. There's a Korok under it. He's hiding. He gives you a Korok seed. The Korok seeds give you more slots for holding weapons and shields and bows, different things like that. You could open up stuff like that. I think there's something like 1,000 or 999 Korok seeds, and apparently, spoiler alert again, but the gift for getting every Korok seed in the entire game is like a Korok seed that's like a big one that looks like a trophy that's like a Korok that looks like a big poop. people have said in descriptions that I've seen. So it's kind of like, even like, what are you getting for that? There's some stuff in the game where you can make your own kind of like town and buy a house where it's kind of like, and you could decorate it and do different things like that. But the point of Breath of the Wild is the exploration, getting there. So when I played the first time on the Wii U, I only did it up until like the first kind of one divine beast I made it towards, like that area. And when I went there, I didn't go on the path that the developers kind of wanted you to go. I played kind of like when you play a Sony game where you go towards a waypoint on your map and you just go directly towards it. And like the second time when I replayed it on the Switch and then did my actual playthrough that I was doing, which was the playthrough I finally beat now, I started like walking on the paths, like the roads that were on the map, because you unlock towers, kind of like I guess like in Assassin's Creed. And once you hit a tower in the area on the map, it'll show you the terrain of the map on your map instead of it just being a blank area. So you'll see like the roads and the paths that are kind of imprinted on the map for that area, so you can follow that to get to your waypoints for where you want to go. So I would suggest unlocking the towers, doing the shrines, doing the divine beasts. There is a kind of thing you have to do to find the master sword. I found the master sword, but I wasn't able to pull it out. I'm not going to say why. You could look that up if you'd like to. But there's something you have to do to be able to pull it out. I didn't do that. I just said, you know what? I was close enough to the castle. Let me just try to get there, because the castle is littered with guardians. So it makes it very, very hard to navigate to without certain items to help you battle the guardians, which you get later on in certain abilities. And I just basically kind of just made my way around a lot of the guardians and wound up not fighting a lot of them. But yeah, that was it. I would give this game, it was definitely good. It was definitely different. I like the exploration more. I felt like once I did the story, I was like, oh, this is like every other Zelda game. Like I don't see what's so special. I understand the ability to do anything in different ways. Like there was always, I felt like, at least two solutions to every puzzle, every shrine. There were different ways to do things. There were ways to kind of work around things. Once you master the flurry rush and the parry system, the combat becomes like almost like you could take on almost anything, even as long as your weapons don't break. You could take on like any enemies. The Lynels in the game are the hardest to beat. There are different Lynels for different areas. They give you the best weapons when you do best them. I never bested a Lynel. But I would definitely recommend this to play if you are used to traditional 3D Zelda games. Then this game may or may not be for you. It's as open a mind as you keep for playing games. But yeah, that is my review of Zelda Breath of the Wild after 8 years. Finally beating this on Switch 2, which the increased visuals was definitely something I was gonna play it this year and beat it, but I said I'll wait for Switch 2 for the better, stuff that was given visually for it. It definitely made it beautiful. I mean, it was a beautiful game in general, but yeah. That is Casual Noob Gamer Cybot signing out with this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, comment, and have a good day. Later.